So I was in the DMZ in Korea, which is really a God thing. I've got to tell you this because I was with the 2nd ID on the DMZ. In those days, you were assigned and you stayed there for 13 months on the DMZ.
And there was still active combat patrolling, and like we'd take casualties during that time
13
period.
months I was there. We had 12 KIA and about 40 wounded. Okay, so this was not a walk in the park. And it was a great experience for me because in addition to, we were in the DMZ. We actually had a company compound, okay? And we actually had a guard mount, and we had our own NCO club, and we had, and so we had all the BS of the admin stuff that you do when you're in garrison, but we were doing combat patrolling every day on the DMZ. So it was really a great experience for me as a young officer because I was able to lead troops out on patrol, but also I had to do all this admin stuff, the garrison things.
And so that was your platoon commander tour. What were the patrols like? What were you doing?
Basically, they were ambush patrols because the DMZ was set up where it was a free fire zone. If you saw anyone, you could shoot them because nobody was supposed to be there. Okay, and we would have to say Korean Chung-hee, which is tell them to stop, But how many times would you say that before you pull the trigger, basically? But we did ambush patrolling primarily.
And that was, you said you were lucky, or you said it was God that put you there, and you feel that because that's just a really good sort of warm up for combat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel that way. My first deployment to Iraq was relatively easy, right? We were in Baghdad, things were going pretty well. We had the upper hand on the enemy, and we didn't get into too much major combat. We got a few firefights here and there, but wasn't like when I got to Ramadi. And I felt like that I was real blessed to have had an experience where you get the kind of the initial nervousness out of your system and you realize, okay, I can do this. That was, I felt pretty lucky about that.
Well, also, keep in mind, I was just a young second lieutenant, shave tail. What did I know, really? And I was, once again, blessed. I had a platoon sergeant who he was a Korean War veteran.
Oh, wow.
A guy was actually an E7, okay? And basically, when I got there, I was his lieutenant. Okay, so nobody screwed around with me. But on the other hand, I listened real carefully. I mean, that's one thing I learned. As a young officer, I've had my success in the military because I had great NCOs who made me look good. And I had commanders who mentored me and didn't cut my head off when I screwed up. And I've made my fair share of mistakes.
Haven't we all?